Good evening. How the heck's everybody doing? Ryan and Sacktown here. Happy to have you. Kings, back at it tonight. Toronto Raptors in town. Actually have some breaking news on the Toronto Raptors, Sacramento Kings trade talks for Pascal Siakam. We can get into that on the other side, but the Kings look to really just stay in the fight right here in the middle of a tough stretch of basketball, just coming out of a back-to-back off a one-day rest and right back into it at home against Toronto. We will talk about it and more and what we got for you all night here on If You Don't Like That. We're always excited to run that down. So anyways, this is the pregame show on If You Don't Like That.
3, 2, 1, go.
11, Sacramento miscue. Carter, stolen by Williams. And look at this. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball.
Fox, goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. The exclamation point from De'Aaron Fox. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Boy, that's an ESPN highlight right there. Whoa. Carlson comes in. How about this? Holy moly, Jim Bob Foley. That is a major league smush.
Welcome back into the broadcast booth. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. Happy to have you here, getting you ready for the Kings and the Raptors from the G1C. Let's get right to your comments. That's right. BJ, let's go Kings. Yes, sir. John, hell yeah. Sal, I'm guessing Sal is talking some good King fandom. Light the beam. Sports Freak, yes, sir. Siakam, Schroeder, Hurdle should be the guys of emphasis tonight. Needs Sabonis to continue a solid rebounding tonight for the Kings to win. All things are true there. Let's throw in this as well. We need Sabonis not to turn the ball over as much as he has in the last two games. I believe 11 turnovers and 6 turnovers, respectively, in the last two. And as for the different matchups that you mentioned, yeah, you remember Toronto came in last year to Sacramento. It was right before Christmas time, and they gave the Kings some problems. It was the first time Domas got a little taste of that kind of the awkward space they give him, where they dare him to shoot, but kind of know he won't blow by him on the dribble. So anyways, getting back to the point, that was kind of the blueprint for how we saw teams slowly starting to play Domas, and then we saw what the Warriors did in the playoffs. So, yeah, it will be a good matchup. So we will see. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Ron, what's up, dude? Ryan, glad to see you, brother. Let's go Kings. Good to see you too, Ron. Happy to have you here on the pregame show. I see 71 of you. Looks like on YouTube, and not sure about Twitter, but happy to have, or excuse me, X. Happy to have you there as well. Make sure, give us a thumbs up, hit the like, subscribe if you haven't, shoot your comments. We will get to all of them. Lance, what's up, dude? Do you think coach is overcoaching, which is causing the players to overthink and hurting the free-flowing offense? Ding, ding, ding. Spot on, Lance. That's what I think's happening. I think Fox, green light, he can do what he wants to do. And don't take this for granted. Fox is shooting more threes this year, and he's shooting them at a higher clip than he has or ever has in his career. But he's also getting more isolation, which means the ball isn't moving like the Kings typically like it to move. Now, as for overthinking it, I think that Mike Brown is trying to stay a step ahead of the rest of the league because we know the league did catch up to the Kings. We've seen the drop in their percentages offensively. So, yes, I think guys are thinking instead of playing. And, Lance, we could do an entire show on that, buddy. But what a great observation there. Carf, what's up, man? I hope the Kings don't come out too confident tonight. Need big games from the big three. Yeah, I want to see how they come out energy-wise. Certainly coming off of that back-to-back first win on the second night of a back-to-back this season, last game. But I want to see where they're at. Is there a sense of urgency? Is there a clear game plan? That so many times you can tell if the Kings have a game plan they're targeting, because Keegan Murray will get 3 of the first 5 shots. You'll see different matchups and different switching situations that the Kings are trying to get into. And then other nights it's just, all right, we're going to swing it around the perimeter. Maybe we'll throw it at the short corner to Domas. And, oh, shoot, the shot clock's coming up. And shot clock violations, that can't happen. That happened too many times last game. Luckily, the Kings still come up with a win against a good Orlando Magic team that will be in the hunt in terms of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. Ibon, what's up? Keegan will have a good game. Calling it now. Let's hope so. Keegan made some big boy plays last game. When I talk about big boy plays, like NBA All-Star plays, the plays that we were hearing about over the summer, where he was creating space, getting to the rim, using his body for positioning, using the hoop as a defender. Those little things he did. And his growth, although it's not jumping off the page statistically, it's there. So let's hope it does continue tonight. It's going to be a tough guard for him, though, with Pascal Siakam. What are your thoughts on Siakam trade talks? So, yes, let's get to that right now. Trade talks, according to Shams, came out about 25 minutes ago, are done. As of this moment, trade talks are off between the Sacramento Kings and the Toronto Raptors for Pascal Siakam. Take that for what you want, or take it for what it's worth. Trade talks can turn back on as quickly as they turn off. My guess is, and the kicker is, Keegan Murray. That's the name that is probably the sticking point. Remember Siakam too. He is an unrestricted free agent, or he would be a free agent this summer. So you got to have some level of confidence you would be re-signing him, or thought you could re-sign him. So those trade talks might be off, but there's some other guys on this Toronto roster that I think could really help the Kings, and you might be able to get them at a really good price. And the first name that I'll throw out there, Dennis Schroeder. We've talked about the Kings needing a veteran backup point guard. That's exactly what he is, and he's a point guard, and he's actually one of those guys that's on my list of guys that kind of are annoying to watch. Just they look like, or to me, they seem like their team, or me first before the team. And, it's kind of like you got LeBron standing right next to you, but now you're dribbling around for 20 seconds, the shot clock, taking a bad shot. Anyways, I digress. But Schroeder can get it done on both sides of the ball. He can create. So he was just relegated to Toronto's bench a few games ago, not too far after or before them trading OG Anunoby away. So could you go get a player like him? It's those kinds of things that we're talking about when it comes to trades, and those things could start up again at any moment. This matchup against the Raptors is not a good matchup. They are an underperforming Pels or Wolves team. They have a lot of size, and the Kings do not match up well. Yeah, we seem to say that a lot. So let's kind of talk about the tail of the tape between these two teams. Surprisingly, Sacramento 4.5-point favorite if you're getting some action in tonight on the game. As for the stats that matter, the Kings scoring 117.8 a game, Toronto 114. Looking at the field goal percentages, just about even. Then we look at the three-point percentage. That's where the Kings live and die. So the Kings don't match up too terribly bad against this Toronto team on paper. Now, when we talk about this team on the floor, because of the length, as the last comment said, that is a problem. But Toronto's in a team that they're a tweener. They could go either way. They could blow this thing up because they just got two great pieces. Good pieces for OG Anunoby in RJ Barrett and also Emmanuel quickly. Don't forget again, Jacob Hurdle, and then Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is kind of their pet project, and he at any time can break out. So they are explosive, but I think the Kings guards can kind of match that intensity with them. So there's what you need to know. Otto Porter out for the Raptors tonight. But again, I don't think anything really stands out too much about the size. What's up, Patrick? Happy New Year's, my friend. Hope you're doing well. How long until Siakam gets traded? His team shouldn't be winning too much longer. I don't think there's going to be any hurry. I mean, they're making it a priority again for Siakam to get traded, but we'll see. The Warriors are another team that have been rumored to be looking at him. Bounce back game for Fox. Yeah, and good point, Carf. Fox needs to come out aggressive. We hear about fourth quarter Fox. Let's start seeing some first quarter Fox. I know he wants to get the guys going, but we also need to get Fox going and also establish dominance, get their guys into foul trouble. De'Aaron probably the hardest guy in the league, corner to corner, baseline to baseline to guard, would be my guess. He is the fastest. There's no doubt about that. Lots of questions on Pascal. Great player, all-star. Doesn't look like as of now it's going to be happening between the Kings and the Raptors for a trade for Siakam. My pleasure. Happy to do it, Dorian. Thanks for checking in, dude. Dorian's the best. Enjoy him. Yep, Shams has reported. Thank you very much, Edward. We have been talking about that. Cody, getting the inactives up. Love it. Love it. I was listening to the mainstream league-wide NBA podcast after the Magic game, and they were criticizing the Kings announcers for being homers. Interesting. I thought Draper called a good game. I actually thought he did a really good job. I actually even tweeted that out, believe it or not. Katie, I didn't think anything was over the top. Now, I mean, you see the comments, you hear the comments that Grant takes on some of our shows. And don't forget, Jerry Reynolds right here at halftime, breaking down the first half of the Kings and the Raptors. And then Grant and I will be doing the post-game show as always. If you are new, we so appreciate you being here. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. But, these announcers in Sacramento, one of the complaints is they're a little bit too soft, too many excuses, homer-ish. I mean, every home team is going to have those elements regardless. Let's put it the way it is. Sacramento's situation is under a microscope because of the transition of Grant and Jerry. It's not just one, it's two, Grant and Jerry. The other thing that's difficult is the fact of the situation surrounding it. If it's a situation where Grant and Jerry stepped away, they were getting their golden watch and going to go off to the sunset and watch NBA basketball there, it would still be a difficult transition to a new announced team. So, it's tough to say. But Kings fans are very intelligent. What's up, Mark? Happy to have you here. Yep, that's the news. That is the big news. Siakam is out of trade talks, or at least out of the talks of the Sacramento Kings at this trade deadline. But do not forget, I caution you, trade talks can start up again as quickly as they can stop. Who knows? And here's the other thing that you got to think about tonight. in this game. Could this be an audition for some of these Sacramento role players, right? Could this be an audition for a Kevin Huerter? Could this be an audition for a Davion Mitchell? Could this be an audition for anybody else that might have some value who could be on an expiring contract? I'm not saying Malik Monk's name because if the Kings were to trade Malik, it's a sign that this year is not going to be the year, because that's knowing that they would not be retaining him at the end of the year. So at that point, you have to start making certain decisions to build towards a new destination. But anyways, getting into the weeds here, basically what I'm saying is Monk's name's not going to be out there, but some of those other guys, you very might be able to put a good performance in front of Toronto, and they say, hey, that Huerter guy, yeah, you know what? We could get some minutes out of him. He's a veteran, right? Scotty could get him 2 or 3 open threes a night. So it's stuff like that. So, and Harrison Barnes, certainly he could go to a contender at any point. He has value. Let's see, Rhino, you guys should consider putting NBA on the title of your shows to push the videos for a much larger audience in the YouTube algorithm. Good suggestion. I will let the boss know, Alberto. We'll do that. Yeah, our YouTube, by the way, those of you that are watching on YouTube, thank you. It's growing this year. Our big numbers are usually on the X. The tricky thing about the X is we rarely see your comments. If you want to ask us a question, if we ever open the show up to callers, I did that last week. That's where you need to be on YouTube to do some of that. So if you want to comment, come on YouTube. That's the easiest way. But yeah, we will do that. Thank you. That's why you guys are the best. Let's see. I say we keep Monk and see what we can get for Murray. Interesting. Yep. That's the point, BJ. It's the thing. You got to give up something to get something. In a perfect world, but because this trade market is a seller's market, not a buyer's market. This is a seller's market. You're not going to get what we would want to give to get Pascal Siakam. It's not going to happen. If this was a different year where, there was other guys out there similar to him with similar contract situations, that may change where you could get a Huerter, a 2028 second round draft pick, maybe a 2029 first, and then you throw in a Barnes, throw in a Mitchell, but it's going to take a lot to get it done. So, and maybe that's the move the Warriors look to make. But let's reinforce, there's a lot of time still until the trade deadline. So the Kings still can make a lot of moves. This does not mean anything for this team whatsoever. Concerned about keeping Monk because other teams will go after him and offer him bigger contracts that the Kings cannot compete with. Yeah, the bigger teams could, but remember the new CBA goes into effect next year, Edward, or this coming league year. You're gonna have to pay him. I mean, look at what 3rd, 6th, 7th, 8th men make. I mean, a good 6th man, a guy that's gonna be good for maybe 3 or 4 victories a year, a guy that's going to probably be on the court more times than not when the game's on the line. You got to pay that guy like a starter. So just because he's not starting in that first 5 doesn't mean he does not deserve the same money. And yeah, this team would look drastically different without Malik. Now, doesn't mean you can't go out and try to get somebody like him, but that chemistry seems to be there. And I mean, see, that's where you can start to get really creative with this entire thing and this entire trade deadline stuff. You can look at situations like Phoenix, right? And you can say, well, there's no way they're going to keep that payroll together with what they're getting out and the output. And I know Phoenix has been playing better as of late, but you think, could you maybe get your hands on a Booker? How would that look for the Kings? What would that take, right? Like, realistically, and think about what that would do for the Kings window. Could you get your hands on a KD, right? We wouldn't want to get our hands on a Barnes, but so those are the conversations. Would you trade Monk and Murray for a Devin Booker? I would. Fox, Booker, backcourt, Sabonis, good night. That would be an amazing move. Suns aren't going to do it, and it takes so much more. And Booker's salary, by the way, through the absolute roof. But, there's a lot of options for this Kings team. So that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not reporting on that whatsoever, just trying to remind you there are a lot of options. So, Frog, what's up, Ryan? I think Kings will live or die by the 3 tonight. I think so too, Frog. The thing about the 3, it's not so much them, it's the opponent. Orlando comes in here, Orlando, one of the top, or one of the last third, roughly, in a group of the third last teams in the NBA that shoot the 3 ball well. That's where they are. They make 25, a franchise record in Sacramento. It doesn't surprise me. We see too many nights that teams come in here that don't shoot the 3 ball well. They shoot it well here in town, and I just don't know what that is. Hard to say. Might just be the Sacramento Kings' luck, but who knows? Rich, watching from the Mesa. I love it on the big screen tonight. Excited for tonight's game. No place like home. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, Rich. Glad to hear you made it back from New Zealand safe and sound. And beautiful Mesa, man. That's where I spent my time in college. So anyways, Kings, Toronto tonight, getting ready to tip off not too long from now over at the G1C. Don't forget, Jerry Reynolds will be here at halftime with myself and Grant to talk about the first half, and then Grant and I will have post-game for you. Hopefully it's a fun night talking about who knows what. We'll do our check-ins. And you know what? I love my local check-ins too. Doesn't have to be international. We can love our local cities too. We'll do our check-ins and just have a good time. Maybe we'll open up to all of you guys too, if it's a Light the Beam Friday night win for the Kings. And don't forget, short turnaround too for the Kings. Sunday, they've got a matinee game against the New Orleans Hornets. So that's why tonight's so important for the Kings. You know what's also important? Good meal when you go out to eat. Not going to go wrong with one of our favorite places. We talk about them all the time. Bennett's Restaurants, 3 locations. The new location, Bennett's Westside Grill, inside the Blue Oaks Town Center in Rockland. Same great menu, same great specials, whether it's happy hour, whether it's prime rib special on the weekend, whether it's weekend brunch, mimosas. I could just go for days and days. They've got 60 different types of wine by the glass. And again, the food to die for, whether you want to give it a go with the redfish, the New York strip, the hanger steak. I could go on for days. Grant and I absolutely love Bennett's, love Brian Bennett. Amazing restaurateur, guy for the community, and also big-time Kings fan of the channel. So, and we know so many of you have given Bennett's a try. We thank you for that. If you have not, get yourself out there. Tell them Grant and Ryan sent you. We would really appreciate it. And trust me, we are not steering you wrong. Bennett is the place to be. Go to bennettrestaurants.com for more information. I'm starting to get hungry now, just even thinking about that. So, all right, Kings and the Raptors. I think the key to this game has to be 30-point quarters. 30-point quarters. The Kings, if they only allow one 30-point quarter in this game, they will win this game, hands down. And I know that's kind of a blanket statement, But the reason I bring this up, yes, indeed, Jesse, I love me some Bennett's too. Pretty sure you can go to go, or you can do to go with them as well. So, yeah, tell them we sent you. They'll hook you up. They will hook you up. And portions are big too. So bring your appetite. Anyways, now I lost my train of thought because I'm thinking about redfish. A blanket statement just about holding Toronto to 30 or under per quarter. But I say it because it shows kind of that roller coaster this Kings team can be when they play. I also don't want to see two starters having great games and less than 10 points for the other three combined. We know that. Lastly, guys, pick and roll. Kings need to take advantage of their advantages tonight, whether that be Keegan Murray down low, Harrison Barnes down low, and making open shots. Making open shots has to happen. So much more. I could talk about defense, press, all that. We will see coming up. And I love you guys are throwing some of these up, 30 points. You guys are saying Lydia said there, she's like, why is Monty not doing anything? What the heck's going on? How you feeling about the news, Lids? Let us know. And by the way, guys, I want to see more from Chris Duarte. Let's not act like that position is tied up for Sacramento. I think that one's still up in the air. Let's keep an eye on that. Let's see what happens tonight at that position. Let's see if the Kings drop into any more zone. A little bit surprised. Let's see. Not to divert, but the Knicks are blowing out the 76ers in Philly, outscoring them 45-5. The second half run. Damn, Patrick. That is a big run, man. Interesting. OG making the difference maybe for the Knicks. I don't know, man. Bronson, he's a special kid. I love watching him play. The fact that the Mavs let him walk because of Luka, they probably are not thinking too highly of that. My pleasure, Lance. You know it. You guys got to come back, by the way. Have to come back for halftime. Jerry Reynolds right here. So much fun with Grant and Jerry. We always love that. And then post-game, Grant and I will be having fun. Baki in the house. We'll get to you in a minute. Baki's got some feelings. He loaded up the take gun. He's getting it ready to go. Did the Kings make a move? No, they did not, Lids. The Kings and the Raptors are no longer talking about Pascal Siakam and a trade for his services. Give me your thoughts on this, Rhino. All right. Told you Baki loaded it up. Booker, for me, overrated. Think the game when think about the games when he is off and compare with the games when KD is off or even Beal this year. The same last few years, CP was missed. No doubt CP was missed, Baki. All of you, there's one of you, I don't know who it is, but there's one of you that thinks CP3 is just garbage. And anytime CP3 would roll into Sacramento, I would remind everybody, he is a Kings killer assist-wise, and he's changed a lot. Some of the success Golden State has had this year has been directly attributed to him. So, yeah. All right, guys. Let's see. Hey, Ryan. Do you guys do watch parties? Sometimes, BJs. Sorry, took me a second. Computer froze up. Yeah, we have done them before, BJ, with the PSF app, and then we've done them in person too for the playoffs. Grant and I did it live. We did it all around town, actually. It's a few different restaurants. Bennett's obviously was one of them. So yeah, when we are able to get together, we definitely will do that. If you guys are interested in us doing anything like that, having an event, let us know. I mean, it seems not too long ago, Grant and I raised 15 or 16,000 to get our heads shaved for charity. That was pretty fun. We did that at Bennett. So thank you to all you guys that showed up for that and supported. But yeah, we would love to do some watch parties. That would be a lot of fun. Last minute, Mark saying, "Let's go, light the beam." I know, Mark. I should probably get out. What do you say, Mark? Probably should get out. Last minute comments. Let's see. How are my hips? Trafficking cats. Interesting question, trafficking cats. My hips are wonderful. Thank you for asking. Much different than last year. For those that don't know, I had both of my hips replaced in 2023. So, anyways. All right, y'all. I hope you guys enjoy the first half. Thank you for being here. Kings-Raptors, don't forget, the one and only Jerry Reynolds and Grant Napier. And I promise, I know last game Grant was not here, but I promise that Grant will be here at halftime this game. Jerry and Grant we'll wrap up the first half, and I will be here after the game with Grant. We'll talk Kings. We'll talk Raptors. We'll talk, hopefully, a Kings victory. And, yeah, I appreciate all you. Go Kings. Light the beam. See y'all.